It's happening. We did a vote in the poll showed that 67% of you thought we were going to get a gap up, and sure as shoot, we did. I'm pumped today. My name is David Worrell. Welcome to David Worrell Trading. I am pumped. I am pumped. I am pumped. Yes, drink every time I say pumped, but I am truly pumped. What's up, Jimmy Bright? What's up, Smaid? And our wonderful, the beefiest of stews is with us tonight. Guys, we are gonna get this thing. Let me pause myself. I can hear myself. I'm pumped, guys. Listen, we got a lot to go over. We're gonna go over earnings, the CME Fed tool, the economic calendar to make sure you know what's happening this week. We also are gonna have some of that investor sentiment happening. We'll check out the Beef Stewie report, and then of course, the leader watch list. It's all right here for you. If you're watching this at a later time, I am David Worrell. We are momentum traders. We try to find the best risk reward in this overall market, so that way when it capitulates, we can make that money. If you have been following me for a while now, I am a bull. Actually, I'm a bear with bull horns. We like to see both sides of the story. And in this case, it pays to be positive. I've been chatting with a lot of you guys on the outskirts, and it is so nice to see a lot of you are true to the game, knowing that overall, in time, the market likes to move higher. Sometimes we have these pullbacks. Sometimes we have meaningful pullbacks. Sometimes we have bear markets, and sometimes we have recessions. But if we use technical analysis, we can see how the overall market is doing. What is going on, guys? How many we got in here right now? We're getting ready to start this. We got 8 of you in here. Let me know where you are chatting from. I am from Michigan. MI, baby, Michigan. Go Blue. Not a big football fan personally, but when the Wolverines are playing Ohio State, let's kick their butt and take some names, baby. We have a lot to go over. Today, we're going to start with the earnings. I think it's important to know if you are in a stock and there's earnings, we don't play during earnings. We always sell a part of that. And I think it's very, very important. And a lot of the times, and especially we have grown as traders in here. We have grown as traders. When we see these gap ups, it's focused more on earnings. We've been making a lot of money on these earnings gap up plays. You know, not necessarily EPs, but earning gap up plays, or finding those base and trend breakouts after it shows us that it is following the can slim. What is going on, Jimmy Bright, North Carolina? The morning's coffee says San Antonio, Texas. Let's go, Texas. I just heard that song the other day. I forget the guy's name. Big dude sings real deep voice, and he keeps talking about Texas. I gotta play that song again. Morning coffee, good to see ya. Glad you are here. Smaid, California, Cali, baby, let's go. Ohio, yeah, Beef Stewie, go Blue. I love it. He says he's from Ohio, but go Blue, baby. Let's go Wolverines. Oh, guys, I am pumped. What time is it? Can we start? It's time, baby. Let's get it. Let's go. All right, we're going to start this off. The Earnings Whisperer. If you don't know, you can go to Earnings Whisperer, or you can just check out me every Sunday. We go over it. But Monday is pretty boring, of course. We already had our Monday. That is today. We only had some oddities, kind of. HSAI, I know some of you guys have been watching that. But Tuesday, before we open, PDD. It's a big player in the game. OKTA is another one that you're going to want to watch after hours. Dick's Sporting Goods on Wednesday. And Abercrombie Fitch, Macy's, all opening before the market on Wednesday. So keep an eye on those. I know Abercrombie and Fitch we have been using to keep an eye on. We can even go over it today if somebody wants to bring it up. But ANF, we have watched this thing go through all the stages. We've seen it going from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3, now into stage 4. Absolutely amazing. What's up, Jolene? Good to see you in there. Cali, baby. We got a couple from Cali. I like it. Usually we got some Canadians in here. Where my Canucks at, yo? And then, of course, guys, Wednesday, big time. NVIDIA. After the close on Wednesdays, you know, I don't think NVIDIA is as, you know, I use capitulatory. I say that damn word so many times. I don't think NVIDIA is going to have such a significant pull as it used to. It's still going to pull the market. Obviously, it's going to sway the market. Why? It's a boat in the overall market. It's going to move the S&P 500, which if the S&P 500 moves, most of the other stocks are going to follow that movement. So watch NVIDIA, keep a close eye on it. Salesforce is a big one, CRM. And I don't know if a lot of you are still watching C3AI or the stock ticker AI. I just checked that one out. It's still getting beat down. But if you're interested in that, they do have the earnings after the close. ELF, another former leader from I think 2 or 3 years back, has earnings after the close on Wednesday as well. So we still have some pretty big earnings leading up to Wednesday. But Thursday is more of a big deal as we have our Costco, we have our Best Buy, our Foot Locker, not as big, but you have Dell. I know some people are watching that. And Futu. Futu's been one that a lot of you guys have been watching out there. Of course, we have American Eagle, not so. It's kind of a boring scene there. I haven't checked on Canopy Growth. That's going to be on Friday before the opening. So Canopy Growth, we've talked about the marijuana stocks multiple times, and I think CGC was one of the better ones. So if you're watching that, keep an eye on Friday for that there. So that is your earnings whisperer. I don't know what you guys are keeping an eye on. If you are excited about any of these earnings, let me know which one so we can kind of go over it and see how the overall stock is doing. So if you want me to look at NVIDIA, we will be going over the Mag 7 stocks today, so we'll see that. But if you want me to look at Costco or Shoe Carnival or any of these other ones, I know AutoZone actually was probably doing well with some of the other ones. We could take a look at that as well. So Carl Burr's in the building. What's up? Carl Burr. I'm Kate. Hi, all. Hi, Kate. Good to see you, Kate. I've been calling you Carl Burr for a while. Oh, man. All right, guys. So let's take a look at old Papa Powell. We always want to keep an update on those interest rates. Why? Because as long as we know that their interest rates are starting to lower or starting to be, less aggressive on the money that we borrow, more people are going to borrow that money, more money is being spent, more things want to head higher. The more money you have, the more money you put in more speculative stocks, more things start to move, the general market starts to rise, baby, rise. So we want to take a look and make sure we're still on track for 2 to 3 rate cuts. Let's check it out. Interest rates with Jerome Powell.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so this is your CME Fed tool. You can go right here to find it. It is simple. It is fun. Not really fun. It's kind of boring, but we try to keep it entertaining here. So what I like to do, guys, instead of just going through this June 25th, we're obviously looking at a rate stay between that 4.25 and 4.50. July, it looks like we are starting to come down where we are looking at cutting a rate 1/4 of a point, but it's not really until September do we actually start to see that first cut. Now, if you guys remember, it was back here in July that we were looking like getting our first cut, but it has now been pushed back a month, which is now showing, if we jump to December, you guys can see here, we're only really looking at a 38% chance of coming down 2 rate cuts. That's 1/4 of a point each. We're only looking at coming down 2 now. Now, if you remember last week, it did look like it deteriorated last week. It was kind of under the radar. We did see it first. I mean, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I do a lot of research, and I put a lot of time and effort into my studies here on Sundays, now Monday. But we seen this first. We seen this first. We seen the change, and we seen it change in the overall market sentiment first, folks. So that's why we want to just keep an eye on it and keep it up to date. Right now, we are still looking at 2 rate cuts, which is 1 less that we had predicted originally from the beginning of the year. That can be a serious implication, but how's the market taking it? Well, if we are expecting 3 and now we're not expecting 2 and we're starting to gap up, that's still a bullish sign. If nothing can bring this down, less of a rate hike, a Moody's rank changing, and tariff news, nothing can take this market down. There's only one way to go, and I think that's up. Now, of course, I'm always going to be a bear with bull horns, but guys, we are still only expecting 2 rate cuts, and the market's still heading higher. So things are looking really, really good. Carl Burr says, sorry, I'm late. Oh, sorry, Kate. You're Kate from now on. Yosef's in the building. Let's go, Yosef. Good to see you in the building, brother. Bogdan and Elizabeth Franchuk. Hi, all from Nashville. What's going on, man? It's good to see you. It looks like you got a joint account there. That's cool. I like it. Let's see. Yeah. Hi. Hello. Tennessee for the first time in March. Loved it. I've been to Tennessee a couple of times myself. There's a place in Tennessee. I got to tell you guys about this. There's a place in Tennessee. It's called the Lost Cave. I've been there when I was a child. I took my family there a couple of times now. Awesome place. You got to check it out. If you like caves, but you don't like caving, crawling through those tight spaces, go to this cave. They got a lost lake, it's called the Lost Lake, but it's in a cave. It's absolutely awesome. You guys got to check it out. So yeah, awesome. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Let's see here. So that's the CME Fed tool. We're looking at 2 rate cuts. No big deal. But now what we need to focus on is the economic calendar. Is there anything that could sway the market's decision? Well, prepare. Let me take a sip Shawana and we'll get this thing a-rocking. Fed Chair Powell speaks. Thank you, Monster. Fed Chair Powell is going to speak, folks, Sunday, May 25th. But this speech, this was just a chat to some students. This wasn't anything big. This wasn't going to move the market. It's just him speaking on his journey to these students. But we have Memorial Day. That's today, holiday. So what do we have going on? Tuesday, nothing too much. This consumer confidence from that state of Michigan, that comes out. I don't think that sways the market so much as the durable goods may. The FOMC meeting minutes, sometimes they'll change things from the FOMC meeting and they'll put something different in the writing. And if something is different there, you might see a big change, but I don't think it's anything we really need to worry about. But it's the GDP and initial jobless claims that all eyes are going to be on for Thursday, May 29th, 2025. You're going to see this happen at 8:30 a.m. So if you didn't hear anything I said for the last 30 seconds, Thursday, GDP quarter over quarter Q1 and initial jobless claims. That GDP, well, I'll just click on it so I can read it verbatim. But GDP is very, very important because it's the growth of our economy. If we show that we are growing and that we are heading in the right direction, that is a good sign. All right, so our last forecast was 0.2%. Our actual was actually negative 0.3%. The gross domestic product, or GDP, measures the annual change in the inflation-adjusted value of all goods and services produced by the economy. It is the broadest measure of the economy's activity and primary indicator of the economic's health. And you can see here, we've been pretty damn stagnant since December of 2020, right? We've just been kind of stagnant here. So anything that's going to help us capitulate up into this direction to the north side and head back up into growth, or even if we stay somewhere, you know, in this growth rate of 2 to 3%, that's fine. Sustainable growth rate, right? We continue and keep it a nice, easy, sustainable growth rate. I think that's good for the overall market. As long as we aren't starting to see growth loss, I think we're going to be A-okay. So keep an eye on GDP, 8:30 on Thursday. All right. If you guys have any questions about that, let me know. I'll do my best to explain. Carl Burr says, I love Tennessee and all the southern states. Yeah, I do. I like that southern hospitality. They got good cooking, I tell you that. I lived down there for about a year, and I definitely enjoyed their food. Absolutely love their food. There was this gas station right before I would go into work, and they had served, I mean, it was just amazing the amount of food every morning this gas station would serve up. It was all home cooked in the back too. I'm telling you, I put on so much weight. I was a foreman out there, so I wasn't climbing around so much. And I got up to like 220 pounds out there, guys. You know, I'm a big guy as it is, but 220 pounds out there, just eating that southern goodness. Give me that gravy down the gullet, baby. I'm telling you, I was getting fat. I was getting fat, boy. And man, I stayed fat until I was like 29 or something like that. But what's up, JP? JP's in the house. Good to see you. Loke, Doc, what's going on? Good to see you. Happy you are here. So guys, again, if you didn't hear anything I said, the GDP on Thursday, May 29th at 8:30 with the initial jobless claims numbers coming out, that is going to be volatile. One way or the other, I don't know if we end up in the middle or we capitulate higher or lower. I don't know. Just know that if you are in a stock that 8:30 on Thursday morning, you're gonna see some movement. You can be assured that. And then Friday, believe it or not, because we usually don't get these kind of indexes is on Friday, but maybe because we have a holiday on Monday, they have to come out on Friday, and that's that core PCE. Okay, so the core PCE month over month and year over year will be coming out Friday on the 30th. So pay attention. That's 8:30 as well. That is your economic calendar, guys. That's going to be very, very interesting. That Thursday and Friday, I really think we need to keep an eye on the market. And as you guys, I'm not going to, not take or not buy or wait because of, certain things. I buy when I have a basing breakout. I set my stop loss. I let the news happen, but I'm not naive to the fact that, oh, well, Powell's speaking, maybe I'm not going to add today. Maybe I'll wait, but I don't keep it from actually entering a trade. Speaking of that, they just put Bitcoin ATM in the corner store here. Oh, actually, we've had some Bitcoin ATMs all around in our area, but we're definitely going to be going over Bitcoin here in just 1 minute. I want to go over the AI sentiment really quick. I know some of us like to keep a close eye on this. I just like to go over it. It's fun. It keeps kind of an eye on things of like where we are on the sentiment lines. What is everybody thinking, right? And now we can finally see we're right around those historical averages, which in my mind, after we have capitulated down lower and then capitulated much higher, making this V-shaped bottom in the overall market, you guys seen when we had the overall bearish sentiment, we really slammed down harder. And when we were at the max bearish sentiment, we were well over 60. I think we were close to 70% in this bearish sentiment area last month. And you guys remember, when everybody's on one side, sometimes that's an idea that we can take that this might be the bottom. And we just spoke it into truth. We did find the bottom. Of course, we didn't know for certain it was the bottom until recently, right? And now we can see the social sentiment is back to being to its average historical averages. So that's a really good sign if you are a bull like I am myself, but it's also nice to understand the overall sentiment. Bogdan and Elizabeth. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading your guys' conversation in the chat. What's going on, guys? If you guys are just joining me, thank you so much. I'm David Worrell. I am a trader, a speculator, a jiu-jitsu practitioner, a father, a husband, and a friend to most. If you guys are just joining me, thank you so much for being a part of this. We are going to go over plenty. We went over plenty already, but I got to show you guys a little secret I got in my back pocket. And if you don't know already, that's the old Beef Stewie technical analysis. If you guys don't know about my boy Beef Stewie, well, you're about to know. So pay attention, baby.
Oh, I see you over there. You got problems? We've got the beef.
The man, the myth, the legend, Beef Stewie himself. Let me go ahead and copy the link to his amazing technical analysis Twitter account, X account, whatever you want to call it. Robert Tainch is in the building. Now it's a party. I hope you brought some beer, Tainch. Let's cheers. Do me a favor, guys. We got plenty of you watching, 14 watching, 6 likes. Can we get those numbers up? You know I am dedicated to getting those numbers up. And 14 of you voted already. Yes, for further capitulation. 57% of you voted so far. You're expecting further capitulation to the north side with the overall NASDAQ. That's amazing. Love to hear it. Love to see it because I am on your side. Now let's take a look at a few charts from the old Beef Stew, and then we're going to go over the ETF and sectors, and then I will give you the leader watch list, what I have on my charts, what I am playing, and what we really need to keep an eye on. So pay attention here. This is us, market gap up, baby. NVIDIA is a close eye that he is keeping it on here. You can see it could be a cash cow. We already know that they have great EPS and sales growth, but you can see they are starting to decline. That's my biggest fear with NVIDIA, that this was already once a leader and it is not going to be a leader again. But what I do like is the technical analysis on this chart showing a bullish flagging pattern here. And you can see that if it can break out of this pattern and head higher, we could see NVIDIA reaching new all-time highs sometime next week or the week after. So we'll see. Will it? Does it still have enough juice? Does it need to further trade sideways and give itself some more time? Regardless, I'm loving the NVIDIA idea. And, you know, he's obviously just following up on previous times. Now, GME, you know, it was funny. Beef Stewie and I were having a chat. We were having a little conversation. And he goes, you know, I got something I got to confess, Dave. I played GME. And I was like, what? Why the hell would you play GME? You know, I haven't looked at this chart in a while. And I'm actually going to bring this up on my chart here just so I can zoom in. And I was out mowing the lawn, and so I'm like, well, B Stewie, you know, let me take a look at this, because I like to give him shit when he does something stupid. And here we are, and I go, well, B, where did you take this trade? Because I'm seeing a beautiful basing breakout on GME. Well, look at this, folks. A bottoming, new higher low, new higher low. That's all we need in a basing breakout. GME at that 28.57 area. Your boy Beef Stewie took this trade. Absolutely amazing. It is already up from its basing breakout area 14%. Now, you guys know I do not like the sales growth in this, so this isn't a can slim type stock, but I do like what Beef Stewie's doing here. I like he's got a good eye for these, and of course, he loves using this anchored VWAP from these all-time highs, and you can see from those all-time highs, it also had shown the form of that base. Absolutely amazing. And Jolene, I have to agree with you 100%. Woohoo, Beef Stewie, your charts are amazing. And that's the only reason why I show him on this show, because I have seen him from the start. He went from not even having a computer to just showing me up on the charting game. Just a big shout out to you. You surround yourself with people that are doing it right. And right here, if you want to surround yourself with somebody who's doing it right, I put his Twitter in the comment section. Click it, stick it, see you later. Bye, baby. So that is the Beef Stewie report. And well, I have you, because we're getting ready to go over the very next section, and that's going to be your ETF and SPY review. Do me a favor, guys. Let me know in the chat right now if you would be oh so kind. I don't want to know every single thing that you're trading, that you're holding. What I want to know is, what is your biggest holding? So for example, right now I'm holding 3 stocks. All my chickens are in one basket. All my eggs are in one basket, right? 3 stocks. That's pretty tight. My biggest holding, though, is CrowdStrike, CRWD. So let me know in the chat right now, what is your biggest holdings? B Stewie, I think I already know yours. I think it's PLTR. Throw it in the chat. Let me know. Jolene, I can't remember. I can't remember what I know some of the recent ones that you sold, but I can't remember your biggest holding. But let me know in the chat. I am really curious what you guys are holding, what you're watching, but I mostly want to know, what is your largest sum? What is your biggest holdings in your account? Let me know in the chat, guys. Right meow. And Beef Stewie is PLTR. I knew it. I knew it, baby. I know my beefy stew. Yeah, this GME is funny, man. It's funny. But let's go ahead and bring up these sectors and ETFs. Let's get this going. Let me know in the chat. Whoa, Jolene says nothing. Waiting for that 5-star setup, I'm assuming. Let's get it, baby. Ooh, Yosef says Uber. Absolutely. Let's take a look at Uber really quick. Yes, absolutely. And Uber's retesting that basing breakout, that simple base breakout. This is one of the hardest times to add, or one of the hardest times to buy. But this often, in my case, when you're looking at a leader, is some of the best times to buy. So keep that in mind. Uber is definitely, if you're not already in it, it's definitely setting up again at that retest area. Amazing EPS and sales growth. Let's see. Used to be PM, mostly cash. I like that. Microsoft, yeah, and we were looking at Microsoft, MSFT, the softest one of all. And you guys can see here, right here is a simple basing breakout. And you can see it came right up to it. And now it's getting tight on that 10-day moving average. You know, of course, EPS sales growth looking great. This thing, if this breaks this area, I really think it can head much higher. So I love that Microsoft looking really good. Now, one I don't like is Apple. APPL, or AAPL. Whoa, what's wrong with me? I was looking at Apple today. If you look at Apple and you zoom out here, you can see it's probably one of the weakest Mag 7 stocks that are out there. Well below its 200-day moving average. It's trending down. It's not even holding a new higher low here. Like, it's just, I mean, I guess you could consider that, but it's just not strong. Now, I do understand, trying to, catch the bottom of some of these, but I'm just not going to make money in this because it's not moving fast enough for me. But I understand why you're playing it. But just keep in mind, it is below a declining 200-day moving average. This could be in a stage 4 decline. But that Microsoft is looking hella mad, guys. All right, let's do this, baby. It's time to see because the futures are gapping up and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. Cheers to you. Let's get it.
This is your ETF and S&P 500 review.
All right, so check this out, guys. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, I promise. It's a beautiful thing. All right, so this right here is our gap up. This is your NASDAQ E-mini futures. This stock, or this right here is your gap up. So we closed on Friday. Right here, we came all the way down close to that 21-day moving average. We bounced right back up and we closed. When we opened up, we have now gapped all the way up here and we reached as high as Thursday's, almost as high as Thursday's highs. So it's looking really, really good in the situation. As long as we can continue to either A, trade sideways or continue to gap up, that's going to be best case. Well, I would say best case scenario is actually we just trade sideways and continue to hold, allow these moving averages to catch up. Of course, I want to think respectfully when it comes to these, moving averages, the anchored VWAP, the 200-day moving average, bouncing off of it. Let these things catch up. Give some of this push some time to kind of rest here, and see what can happen. Now, I'm not going to argue with the market if it wants to just gap up and go reach new all-time highs and then pull back. Hey, I'm not going to argue. I will not argue. I would love to see it, but we'll see what happens. I love the gap up. The gap up in the futures right now is all eyes on it, all right? So we're going to come back. We'll look at the futures before we close this night out to see where we are at. Let's see. Carl Burr says he's in Hood, Rivian, and GME. I don't like that Rivian trade. I like the Hood and the GME for sure. And GRND, that thing is just a beast, Carl. Absolute beast. Do you have an equal amount in each one of those, Carl? Or which one are you holding the most of? What's your biggest holding there, Carl? Hopefully Hood. I know you've had Hood for a little while too, so that's awesome. Guys, Bitcoin, you got to keep an eye on Bitcoin. This 10-day moving average has served absolutely keen in Bitcoin's moving higher. Now that it reached new all-time highs right up here at 111, almost 112,000, you can see it's pulled back and just continued to bounce off the 10-day moving average. Of course, I wanted to see this thing really break out, really head higher and do legs like this. But as I kept an eye on MSTR was slowing down as this thing was reaching new all-time highs. And as MSTR is shown to actually move before Bitcoin does in some situations, I noticed that Bitcoin was moving when MSTR was not. What I did not conclude was from it until afterwards is that MSTR really is still leading Bitcoin. It really is still leading it. But in this case, it was showing Bitcoin's weakness as MSTR wasn't ready to go. Or at least that's how I've interpreted it. If you think otherwise, let me know in the chat. Keep an eye on this. This is IWM. This is your Russell 2000. This is showing that short cap stocks, these small market cap stocks, are still not doing very well. Well below a 200-day moving average. This thing has a ton of work to do, folks. This thing is still just trading sideways. It's been stuck in this range for a very, very long time. It's disgusting to look at. Now the QQQs is just going to be like your NASDAQ here. You don't see the gap up on this just yet, but QQQs are doing well above the 10-day moving average. The Dow Jones Industrial, the big boats, your grandfather's stocks of stocks, is still below a 200-day moving average, so not looking the absolute best. We've already looked at technology. Now discretionary, if we look at this, you can see it's popped up above its 200-day moving average and still holding up above the 21-day moving average. Look, Doc says the Russell is weak as compared. Yeah, weak AF compared. Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, it is. And I really think it takes some crazy speculation for the small cap stocks to get going, because I feel like a lot of these bigger stocks, these monopolies, are taking from the large stocks, and then the large stocks are just taking from the smaller stocks. So it's kind of this suction where these small cap stocks can't really get up and running without big fund, you know? And I might be talking out of hand there, but you can see it in the Russell. Since we've had all this money printing and then we've had it all, the interest rates come back, you know, nobody's starting up. We're not seeing a lot of these small cap stocks run. Now we're seeing some individual names, but we're not seeing the whole sector start to run like we have, you know, 3 years ago. XRT, this is the retail ETF. We've seen some of the retail stocks doing well. I have a few of them in the leaderboard, but this is going to be highly dependent on, all your retail here, and it's still below that 200-day moving average. So we don't want to bother with retail right now. IGV, this is your tech software. This thing has been doing very, very well. You can see a downtrend in this, so it needs to break above this. But aside from that, if it can create a new higher low, it's still above all of its moving averages, and it's looking very keen. KRE, this is your regional banking ETF. I think this is your mid-regional because XLF is going to be our financial. XBI, this is your biotech, still doing very, very weak compared to the overall market. Very long-term downtrend now, looking like it's going to enter a stage 4 if it breaks this $80 area. So just keep that in mind. We do have some small cap biotech, pharmaceutical, and healthcare stocks that are looking good and like they're running. But if you want to have confidence and reassurance that if you go to sleep tonight, that's not going to gap down on something crazy, you're always going to have that inherent risk with those stocks. But knowing the biotech ETF looks like absolute dog doo-doo, I'm going to pass, okay? XLRE, this is real estate below a 200-day moving average. Say nothing more. XLB, this is your materials below a 200-day moving average. Healthcare, well below a 200-day moving average, and it's starting to curl lower. This is due to the United Healthcare scandals and everything that's going on, not looking good. Healthcare looks like garbage. The the S&P 500 equally weighted, you can see is still fighting to get above that 200-day moving average. And when you look at this, you can see that there is a clear bearish indication on this, as if we aren't equally weighted, it's not showing that everything is participating. Now, this is showing that, you know, relative strength compared to, you know, a lot, I shouldn't say relative strength, but this is looking very good in comparison to, you know, what you wouldn't want to see. But at the same time, it still has work to do. So if we want to see the overall market do well, a nice bounce and a new higher low would be nice to see. Now, of course, the market does not give a shit what I think. This thing could really just go straight up from here. And you guys know my best case scenarios. It's very cool. A lot of them work out here. And there's a reason why I'm bouncing off this area of support, because it's done it multiple times. So will parts of the market continue to head lower? Will other parts of the market head higher? Sure, that's what happens. But we want to see some of those stocks like healthcare, like biotech, like real estate. We want to see those catch up with the rest of the market. And it's nice to see some things are still lagging behind, because then when your technology and your software and those start to cool down, your AI stocks start to cool down, then hopefully you'll start to see money start to pile into healthcare and biotechs and, you know, other stocks that aren't doing very well right now. And then that will help capitulate and move that market up even more. So long-winded there, but I hope you stayed with me. Industrials are still looking very, very well. You can see well above all of their moving averages here. MDY, this is your mid-cap 400 ETF. This is below a 200-day moving average. As your energy stocks, now I know we were getting really excited about energy up here when we had this very, very long basing area, but it never actually was able to get up and stay up in this energy sector as traditional energy starts to slump. But if we look at nuclear energy, the subsector of this, you can see we are getting ready to hit new all-time highs. What does that tell you? Keep an eye on nuclear stocks. We also have your DFEN, which is your aerospace, just reached new all-time highs 3 days ago, folks. So if you don't have aerospace technology in your portfolio, then at least have it on your watch list. Things like HWM, we have quite a few of them. We'll go over them here very, very soon. And then of course, gold. If you guys haven't been watching gold, we called the top right here, and now it's chopping around, very choppy, very spacey here. I'm still expecting this to head lower, but again, the market does not care what I think. I quite honestly think that that's what's gonna happen. I haven't found anything that I'm really excited to short in it. But if the overall market starts to do well, I think gold will have some time to cool down here. You know, whether it's just pulling back and bouncing off the 50 a few more times and tightening up, or if it's actually going to roll over, come maybe back down here and retest this 270 area. I do not truly know. But what I will say is this, it does still look strong. This bounce off this 50-day has been true quite some time. So keep an eye on it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. So that's gold. What do we got here? Oh, insurance. The insurance ETF broke that 200-day moving average, bounced back above it. Insurance isn't the strongest. It was looking very, very strong last month, 2 months ago. If you guys remember, we played things like Root, and we have a few other stocks in there, but Root was our main one. But now they're just not looking so hot. The money came and then it left, right? And those are more of a defensive stock. So it's nice to see those actually start to pull back here. Now this is XLU Utilities, and you can see this looks really, really good. This looks like a stock I would want to take. Why? Well, because we have a base right here, right? So we have a basing breakout right in this area, and then it came back and it retested this area, and it's holding. So to me, this is showing a new area of support as long as it continues to hold above it. So if you like the XLU stocks, I haven't found any really good utility stocks that actually move above 6%. But if you find something that you like to play, or maybe a 2x bull leverage on this XLU, it's looking good. It's looking good above all moving averages. Now, XLF, we've seen this thing. It was really rampant here, looking very, very good. Still above all moving averages, but compared to some of the other ones that are very hot in the sectors, you got to understand this thing is just slightly lagging behind. So keep that in mind. XLF still looking good, but not the absolute best. Consumer staples above all the moving averages, and you can see the downtrend here. You can almost see the downtrend here. If we can continue to make these new higher lows, I think consumer staples will still continue higher. But remember, we don't necessarily want to see insurance, consumer staples, stuff like that continue higher, because those are more defensive plays. We're looking for the cyclical rebound, or for it to come back down, rest, relax, let the market go higher, let us be more speculative. Let it trade sideways like this so the market can head higher, or just ease up. But regardless, it's looking good. It's showing strength above all the moving averages. And then if it breaks out of this area, it could head higher. So we'll see. Communications. I haven't looked at the communications ETF in a while, and it's looking very, very good. So look at this above all the moving averages here. Very, very nice. Almost a head and shoulders pattern here, but it's looking nice. Hack, one last one that I want to look at here is Hack. It is your cybersecurity ETF. Now, I've been preaching about cybersecurity ever since AI started to kick off. I said, well, where's the money going to go to next? If you have all this AI and you have all these idiots with technology that make them immediately smarter, then you're going to need cybersecurity to help protect you from all those smart idiots, right? Well, in that case, Hack. Right here, basing breakout. I really think that this thing's going to capitulate, head much, much higher. So if you don't have that crap on your watch list, I got plenty of them in my leader watch list. So make sure you stay tuned, because that's coming out very, very soon, folks. So that is your sector and ETF watch. We're going to take a quick sip. Shawana, do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe. What's up, Eagle Voyages? What's going on, brother? SMR? Absolutely. Yeah, SMR, there's quite a few nuclear stocks out there. The NNE is a very good one. Yeah, there's a lot of really good nuclear stocks. We can take a look at SMR. This is SMR right here, guys. Almost all new all-time highs right after these earnings here. Earnings gap up. It traded sideways. And then look at this. It just barely touched its 10-day moving average. It said, hold my beer. I'm going to go higher. And then it headed much, much higher on that news. The Big Beautiful Bill Act, as B. Stewie was preaching about it to me, which I did not care to listen to much. This thing gapped up and he woke up from his nap saying, I told you so. Very, very deserving of me to not listen to the old beefy stew. But regardless, guys, SMR is in a very good spot here. I really like this, but I can't take a trade on this, obviously, because it's gapped up way above all these moving averages. Now, if you're gonna play like the opening range breakout or something intraday, like I get it, you know, everybody trades different. But for me, the way I trade, I much rather look at something like an NNE here, because NNE has that this basing area, so it's closer at least to my risk reward, because you can see this big trend up, this big basing area right here, and now it's broke out above it. This would be the area I would want to get a hold of. So maybe a pullback and a bounce to try and get a hold of something like that. But you know, it's still well above that 10-day moving average. So it's off the plate for me, but these nuclear stocks, like we said, NLR, the nuclear, it's at an all-time high. You know, it's looking like a QUBT breakout right here, if you know what I mean. You know, so yeah, I like SMR, looking very good. I hope you're holding it because this earnings breakout, oh man, if you guys got a hold of this, congrats. I know that B Stewie's holding that NNE. It's looking really, really good. Really, really good. All right, guys, I got a leaders list for you. I hope you guys like it. One of these say best setup, one of them say leaders. Don't let that bother you, but every one of these on here, in my opinion, are a leader, or at least something that is in the leader of its sector that you need to keep an eye on, you need to keep a watch list on. Just before we start though, if you have an extra second and you haven't taken a look at my link tree, take a look at it right here. B Stewie just posted it. If you guys wanna find me on a more personal level, this is my X account, my Twitter, and then of course I have my Snapchat down here if you guys wanna see. I like to post that at least once a day if you wanna see a little bit more insights of my life, my family life, what I like to do, you know, in my free time. And then of course, if you want to use TradingView like I do, I get a little kickback if you use this and actually purchase the essential plan. If you guys do that, I get a little kickback. I make a little money from it, and that's your way of saying I appreciate it. Or of course, and I promise I'll be done after this. It helps this channel out a lot though. If you'd like to become a member, it's only $5 a month. You get access to my base and trend breakout strategies. And of course, you get a cool little emote next to your name, like a few of our boys in here do. And of course, I will constantly shout you out. And if you guys are looking for any mentorship or at least something to get your process started, or if you need the framework, I have it all for you. It's only $100 for a mentorship to get you caught up to understand how I trade and how you can use it to your advantage. Or you might take it. You might take my mentorship and you might say, hey, look, I don't like what you're doing. You're garbage. Go away. Either way, you can't knock it till you try it, guys. Let's get into this. So we cannot talk about this breakout in the overall bull market without talking about DUOL and Netflix. And why is that? Because these are the two that led the market's charge. And I think it's very, very important to keep an eye on our two biggest leaders. Now, yes, PLTR, you can watch that all you want. But right now, Netflix just hit a new all-time high 2 days ago. And DUOL, same thing. I mean, they're still just absolutely kicking ass and putting everything else to name. These stocks are just doing amazing, okay? So keep an eye on Netflix and DUOL. Of course, they're bigger boats. If you want to use them, play NFLU. If it's liquid enough for you, you can get a 2x leverage in that, and it's much, much cheaper than $1,100 a share, okay? And then DUOL, and by the way, guys, I just wanted to point this out. This is what dreams are made of right here, okay? You got a simple basing breakout right here, all right? And then it's following a 10-day moving average. And look how tight this is getting. I bet this gaps up in the morning. I'm just taking a guess. PLTR, also absolutely amazing. If you guys don't have this on your watch list, if you're not watching it, then you haven't been trading the market very long, right? Or maybe you're a small cap trader. But if you're a swing trader like I am, these are the stocks that you need to keep an eye on. These are the leaders in our market. These are going to show you signs of weakness before the overall market does, okay? So keep an eye on PLTR. You can obviously see a beautiful trending breakout pattern right in this area. Let me just go ahead and mark this out for you in case you don't see it. Absolutely lovely. I love it. We'll see if it wants to take hold. We've talked about this one multiple times, this Spotify. I gave you a best case scenario, and it looks like best case scenario is still setting up. Absolutely love it. I know that Torque likes to keep an eye on this one, and for good reason, because this thing has EPS and sales growth. Of course, they have your boy Joe Rogan on the microphone, taking a hold of Spotify and making it go much, much higher. But regardless, I think they're making big moves. This thing is a little choppy in this area. I want to see it tighten up like this right here. Over here. So get really, really tight right in the 660 area, and then bada bing, bada boom, you'll be making money soon. I like Spot. Keep that on your list. Hood. I know Carl Burr said he was into Hood. Absolutely love it. And this thing, I mean, look at this. This is beautiful. EPS and sales growth looking very, very good. You know, Hood used to follow Bitcoin. This is almost a double play because it moves on its own without Bitcoin. And it's in the financial sector, which is doing well. And then also it's in the Bitcoin sector because you can purchase Bitcoin through Hood. So they're kind of a multi-bank. I told you guys right here, the basing breakout, this is where I wanted to take it. I was not able to because it gapped up, and then I was not there for the opening range breakout. So it is what it is. You can't kiss all the babies, but I do like Hood. I think Hood is setting up that absolutely beautiful cup and handle pattern that is William O'Neill's bread and butter right there, looking very, very good. GEV, I just wanted to talk about GEV because this is another simple base breakout right here. Very, very simple. You just buy when it hits its new all-time highs. This is a little bit harder. This would have been a harder buy for me because of the extension on the 10-day moving average. But if you had a conviction in the stock, there's multiple areas we could have got in, like this basing breakout right here after the earnings. Right there, bada bing, bada boom. Hard to get proper risk reward in this area, but still looking very good for GEV. So I like it. Those are my thoughts, not yours. TOI. I think B. Stewie pointed this one out to me. Didn't you, Beef? Was this one of your stocks? Let me take a sip here. Guys, this TOI, let me tell you a little bit about this. This is a health service. So again, remember, healthcare stocks are dog doo-doo right now, but we want to know when things start turning around, what is there that we know is setting up? Because if healthcare technology starts to turn around, this thing might show it. Now, 99 relative strength rating. What I like about it is when you see these health technologies, a lot of times you don't see EPS and sales growth. This has EPS and sales growth, so it's looking good. It has good volume coming into it. And I think it's one that you should keep on your watch list. At least watch how this trades, because this is a huge push up here. It's getting a tightening range and it's starting to tighten up. Now, I would say best case scenario, we want to see this thing, I don't know, maybe get a little tighter, but you know, you got almost a base on top of base here, almost. If this low was up somewhere in this area, you could almost see you have a base on top of base. But it's setting up, it looks good. I just wanted to bring it up and show you guys. CRWV, yeah, that was the beefy. CRWV, so this is CoralWeave. You know, I don't know too much about the stock. I just know it's the package technology software stock. Huge RS rating. I don't know what's going on with the earnings and sales. It doesn't matter. This thing capitulated, went much, much higher. We need to give this time, but I want you to keep it on your watch list because it did lead this charge here. Now, HIMS, I don't like this gap down, and I don't like that it didn't get back up into its trading range. It was setting up my best case scenario, but then this breaks it down. This kind of changes my idea here on this. Now, what doesn't change my idea is the EPS and sales growth, but I still think that this needs time to digest. You can see the last time that it capitulated higher, it fell like a rock. Will it do the same thing in this area? I don't know, but what I do know is I'm not getting good risk reward, and I'm not getting good vibes from the stock, so I'm gonna leave it alone and let it set back up. Now I wanna see more of a base, so let it set up for 6 months. I don't care how long it takes. Let this thing set up for a while here. Let it just trade sideways, then maybe start to form new higher lows, because that is when we're going to get the big move higher. I don't think we're gonna be able to get another big move higher after all this, but again, remember, the market doesn't give a shit what I think, right? So if it wants to, it will. But for me, not proper risk reward here. This would give me better risk reward because it would have new higher lows that I could work off of rather than trying to work off this dog crap down here. SKWD, now this was one of the insurance stocks that I was watching, this ended up becoming the leader in the insurance stocks right here, this SKWD. This ended up beating Root by far. Here's Root. So you can see if the insurance sector starts to come around, I would say you're going to want to focus on SKWD. What kind of music is playing? I don't like this. Next song. Can you guys hear that music? Let me know in the chat. Can you guys hear that music? All right, cool. All right. Back on track, baby. All right, so here is CrowdStrike. Now, I am in CrowdStrike. I did take CrowdStrike. I took a very hefty trade on CrowdStrike. Matter of fact, this is probably one of my biggest trades in, well, it's definitely the biggest trade this year. But I would say it's probably one of my biggest trades of my career, I guess you could say. It depends on, in dollar amount, it's not, but in the thought of the size and how I'm trading it, it is probably one of my biggest sized accounts. So getting this gap up and seeing CrowdStrike actually gap up is a huge relief because I took this trade towards the end of the day, but I had to take this basing breakout. Why? Well, two reasons. One, it is CrowdStrike. It is part of that packaged software. As you guys know, I've been rooting for that packaged software, that cybersecurity stocks, right? And we've been watching this thing set up for quite some time now. And look, I told you guys 3 weeks ago, this is my best case scenario because this thing gapped right up into this area. And I said, well, you know, that's nice, but I'd much rather play a basing breakout rather than a simple base breakout where it would just go up from here. And that it did exactly that. Look at that best case scenario, and it drew it out just right for me. I bought right where I, now guys, of course, you know, there's some luck involved with this, but I'm just drawing out my best case scenario. And then when it happens, I mean, it happens, folks. You draw out a plan and you can see it right in front of you. That's why I love this trading view. It's so simple, it's so easy to use, and once you get your tools set up here, it just makes it easy. So again, if you guys want, use that link. And if you guys like it, you can try it. You can use it for free. If you like it, buy the essential plan. If not, who cares? Use the free version. You know, sometimes I use the free version. So awesome. 8 Mile, what's going on? Good to see you in here. All right, so Sezzle, S-E-Z-L. So this is a big one in that packaged software space. You guys know that I've been keeping a very close eye on this packaged software, and it has been an absolute doozy. That and many, many other sectors out there that are in AI, nuclear, all that good stuff. But packaged software has been really, really laying down the law as SEZL with both EPS and sales growth is still absolutely rearing its front end up here. It's just absolutely beautiful to see this. Now, if you guys wanted to trade something like this, you could play the opening range breakout on the EPS, the earnings sales gap up here. You could play the opening range breakout and then use this 10-day moving average, taking out at 20%. You can see on this trade here, if you would have taken it, you would be up 55% right now in this trade. You'd have taken out half at 20%. You'd still be holding up another 50% on that last half right now. You know, I mean, that's amazing right there. SEZL playing that earnings gap up play that we love so much. Now, the one that I have been trading, like I said, I did take the basing breakout on CrowdStrike, but what I've been holding for quite some time now is Rubrik, guys. This is RBRK, another newer IPO stock. You guys can see this is when it opened up here back in April. You can see here that it created this beautiful base, the simple basing breakout. And I really like the double bottom play as it hit this basing breakout. This looked and formed up much, much sooner than all the other packaged software stocks. And that's why we do this on every Sunday, because we want to find the best of the best. And right here is why I decided to take RBRK, because it had this simple basing breakout here. I took it on volume, and you can see it's continuing higher. And even though it is in its overbought range, it's still, every time it comes down and retests this 10-day moving average, it continues much, much higher. Now, I was very patient. I packed my patience. I had a very, very good chunk in this as when you have confidence in a trade like this, you know, you put on risk. and we were in a power trend. So you guys can see getting into something like this in a bull market, when you identified the overall market, yes, this is what you can do. So what is this trade? Well, this is a almost 7R risk reward on RBRK. And you can see here, I took off half of my shares at 19.31%. I didn't wait for that 20%. I peeled my phone open while I was working. I seen that we were close enough to 20. I peeled off half my shares, and then I celebrated. You know, I shot B. Stewie a text and said I finally peeled off half my shares. Where does the stop go? Well, my stop's at break even now. My stop was here at 73.75, and now I brought it up to break even. But if it doesn't make it to break even, where do I stop? When it closes below the 10-day moving average. So right now, if this thing gaps down tomorrow and closes here at 85.78, I have still earned another 11.76% on the last half of these shares, all right? So that's how you do it. If you love it, if you like it, if you love it, give me some love in the chat. Shoot some love my way. I'll shoot some love your way. You shoot some love my way. Just use that reaction, baby. You see it flooding in, baby. Oh, yeah. Nothing but love here for you guys. I hope you give it back. You guys got to know, like, after you've been doing this for a while and you've been through a couple of market cycles, you see things like this, you talk about this, you take these trades. That's why in our Discord, which by the way is invitation only. If you guys want to be a part of our Discord, you can. We are a very tight-knit community. We don't let many people in, but if you want to be a part of the community, you know, reach out to one of us, whether it be through Twitter or through Facebook. Find me. If you really want to be a part of the community, you'll find us. Okay. I see you guys smashing that love. Thank you for all the emotes. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're gonna constantly try to make this channel better. But I have decided we're gonna take a little break. We're gonna continue with the leaders here in just a second. But I gotta tell you guys where I'm going with the channel. I am honestly, I'm so sick. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna gripe. I never gripe on this channel, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I am so sick of putting so much time and so much effort into people that want to be spoon-fed information and given tickers just so they can make money off of all my hard work. I'm okay with that, but you need to make it your own idea. You need to make it your own plan, and you really need to show an effort to learn. Okay, I always say you're a loser unless you're learning, and I truly mean that when I say that. If you're not here to learn, if you're here to just take the ticker list and you're gonna buy anything I say, well, you're the problem. You are the problem. You're the reason why you're not gonna get any better, because you're not doing the homework and research. I'm doing the homework and research, and then if I give you something, I want you to say, oh, I need to look further into that. I need to make sure I know the ADR percentage, where my risk management would be, if this is a stock that I'm willing to hold overnight, what size ticker this is. You need to see if it is in a hot sector. I'm a talking head. Just because I got gray hairs don't mean I know, all right? I promise you that. I've been wrong many, many times, and I'm gonna be wrong many, many times more. But because of my risk management, that is how I'm making that money. So make sure you guys are doing your research on these stocks. The reason why we are invite only is because I love the core group of people that we have. So if you want to be a part of it, we will welcome you in with open arms. But I promise you, you need to be in there to learn. Okay? Learn. If you're not doing your homework, we're going to get rid of you. We don't care anymore. I'm on to that next level where I'm done with the noise. If you're willing to learn, that is a refreshing and invigorating sense of accomplishment for me, that I can help teach you and bring you up to speed and get you up to snuff. Let's freaking do it, people. But if you're there and you're just saying, hey, what about this ticker? Hey, what about this ticker? Hey, what about, tell me what you think. Tell me how you feel about this ticker. Why are you drawn to this ticker? Don't just give me a ticker and say, hey, should I buy this? Come on, do your damn homework. I'm getting sick of it. So this channel is changing slightly. I'm getting a little bit more rough around the edges because I'm so sick of repeating myself and then being asked the same question by the same people. I'm gonna be honest with you. I love each and every one of you, but this is what you gotta do. Go into my YouTube, click on the playlist that says learning how to trade, or I think that's what the playlist is called. Click it, let it run through, learn the lingo, learn how to trade, learn a process, learn risk management. Let's fucking go, people. All right, I'm done ranting. Next up is MSTR. Now, MSTR, this is still on the leader watch list, but I wanted to tell you guys about this. This was a beautiful trade we took. This was 63R. 63R, folks. That is amazing risk reward. This is what an opening range breakout can do. This completely changed my account. And then what happened? It closed below a 10-day moving average. I was done with the last half of the trade. We made a ton of flipping money on this trade. And then guess what happens? It breaks down. That's why we have risk management. That's why we have stop losses. That's why we made money on MSTR. And if you guys remember, I kept telling you, MSTR is not doing well while Bitcoin continued to move higher. What does that tell me? Watch out. That's not a good sign. MSTR pulled back, Bitcoin pulled back, but now Bitcoin's bouncing off its 10-day moving average. We'll see where MSTR opens up in the morning. TTWO, this is the Grand Theft Auto 6. Remember the news delay? This thing came out, it pulled back. We bought in on the lows, held for intraday setup because I did not have further belief. With this, somewhere in this area, they filed for shit, what's the word I'm looking for, guys? They're going to dilute their damn company, right? Okay, they're going to dilute their company. They filed for shares. Come on. One of you guys in the chat know what the hell I'm trying to say. I'm having a brain fart. I need to get a sip here. Sip for me, baby. Ah, goodness gracious. Anyway, TTWO, I'm not a fan of this. Be quite honest. Yes, it's above all of its moving averages. Yes, it's still looking good. But right here at this base, if it starts to break down from this 225 area, I think we're going to head much lower, much faster. Now, we do have this area at 217, but if you're looking for short ideas, keep an eye on TTWO. I think it might be short-term short, but until it actually, the video game actually comes out, I think this thing's still going to head higher. So I think it's kind of a, you know, short-term short, long-term trade until, you know, the news comes out that the game actually gets released. Then I think it's going to fail, but we'll see. Those are just me talking. I don't really know. AVGO coming back up. Not going to lie, a little nervous. You know, this AV, oh yeah, because I forgot you're bag holding that, aren't you? I forgot about that. This is the stock that made you a bag holder. But you know what? It worked out for you, so I'm not going to give you too much shit. But we're going to put the baggie on it. We're going to put the baggie on it because we got Jolene right here holding this bag. Now, I just talked to B. Stewie about this. EPS, sales growth, everything's looking good. I really like this. It's looking really, really good. This could be a double whammy here as it breaks this trend break right here. And then if it breaks this basing breakout as well from all the way back in this area, I'll just draw it out for you guys. Look at this. That could be a double whammy as this thing could move much higher, much faster. So I really like that. Oh, did you get out? Okay. TTWO is delaying. They never put new videos out until before Christmas. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, they're definitely not coming out with GTA 6 until November. They're going to have another delay. It'll be delayed till November. It's going to be the hottest Christmas gift. Everybody's going to be fighting over it. And then there'll be a huge demand for it, which will only make it worth more, right? Yeah, AVGO is absolutely very, very interesting. Very, very interesting here. You know, I love the trend breakout pattern. I love a tightening range after expansion. We like to see contraction on a tightening range on the 10-day moving average. Then what do we want to see? We want to see breakout. We want to see capitulation. We want to see this move higher. This has the ability to do that. AVGO is a big mover. You guys remember, this is the DeepSeek news. We took this basing breakout here. I lost over 7 grand in one day. Boom. That's simple. That's all it takes. You know? This is, you know, I don't like to call this black swan event, right? I think somebody could have thought of, you know, the Chinese are going to come out with something cheaper like they always do. But this here was, you know, you can't stop that. That's part of trading. You're going to take hits like this. This is how I started my 2025, y'all. You know what I mean? January 22nd, 2025, January 23rd. 2023, and I already fought all that back, made all this money back that I lost from this one damn trade. That was a fight. That was a fight, Jolene. And you know, I'll be honest with you, Jolene, I felt bad because I had a lot of conviction in this, and I know you got in this about the same time as me, so I know you're hurting just as bad as I was. You know, and I never want to see anybody else hurting. I could take the pain. I just don't want to see other people hurting. You know what I mean? All right, let's carry on with the leader watch list. Guys, it's already 10 o'clock. Let's get it. We got some homework to do, okay? And I can already see it. We got some good ones. Make sure you're not holding the bag on AVGO. We're going to keep the bag up there, though. But AVGO is looking absolutely primed, people. So keep this on your watch list for sure. We got Uber. Uber Boober, we watched this a little earlier. If you guys remember, this was my best case scenario. Trading sideways, new higher lows and a basing breakout. But of course, the market does not give a shit what I think, as this simple basing breakout worked out absolutely beautiful. It gave you one more opportunity on this trend breakout pattern, and it is a tightening range on the 10-day moving average, and then it headed higher. Uber's still looking very, very good, but as we talked about earlier, we have this basing breakout, and it looks like it's trying to retest it now, right on this $86, $87 area. So very, very important. Dash. Now, you guys know I was talking about Dash. This is looking a lot like many other setups. You get this double bottom here, and then look at this beautiful basing breakout. Absolutely amazing looking basing breakout. Okay, now this is I need to bring this up on one of my number ones here. So we're gonna bring this up here because Dash is looking really, really good. So if Uber's going, you know, Dash right behind it, more of a lagger than it is a leader, but it's still, the basing breakout pattern looks really, really good. And you guys need to have this on your watch list for sure. And definitely set your alert. I have plenty of alerts. I think I have alert at 207, alert at 210. Make sure you got your alerts out there. Woo! Let's go. All right, Oklo, OKLO. That's a shit ticker. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they got EPS growth, but where are the sales? I don't trust it unless we got sales growth, okay? So keep an eye on OKLO. This is a ticker that I'm keeping an eye on because it's moving, not because I can take a trade up here. No, it's moving with the rest of the quantum, not quantum, that's, I think OKLO is nuclear. Bros, this is your coffee shop. It's still above all of its moving averages. It's got great EPS and sales growth. So if you have slept on the Bros, keep an eye, because if this thing starts to turn around here, we might have a simple basing breakout after a double bottom. And you guys remember at that last stock we talked about, it had the same pattern, so it's looking good. TDUP, nothing we can do with this way up here. But look, it gave you one opportunity. I wouldn't have been able to take this. This is not a part of my trading, but maybe it sets up a base. But TDUP, looking absolutely kick-ass. This is retail trade and internet. So MRX, this is one we've been watching for a while. I showed you guys the basing breakout pattern on this. MRX was one of the early leaders. It was looking really, really good, and it's still looking really good above all of its moving averages here. Its EPS came out. It did not look good for the market, but it still beat. Had two surprise beats over 2%. Now, ADMA, we've been keeping an eye on this one for a while. I'm getting ready to take this off my watch list, but I just found it pretty interesting as it just came back down here and it retested this trend line. Look at this, guys. You just pull this. We'll just pull it off its base to make it look a little better. You got this ascending trend line here as it's starting to get tighter again. So it had this breakout, a sell-off. You could call this a fake out and a shakeout, and now it's getting tight here again. So this ADMA biotech looks really, really good, but do keep in mind, biotech's down, biotech's garbage. You have inherent risk, but we do have some EPS and sales growth on this thing. So if this thing does get some news or starts to break out here on volume, I would definitely say keep a close eye on that. All right. And then of course we have ROAD, R-O-A-D. B. Stewie was one of the first people I seen to chart this out. And I just thought this basing breakout was beautiful. And you know, when he charted this out, I think he had on his Twitter, I think he had this basing breakout. And so I was watching it, but I don't think I was in a place where I wanted to trade the market at this time, or at a place where I wanted to trade this stock at the time, because I didn't necessarily understand the industrial services, engineering, and construction services. So I've never traded a stock in this sector. What up, G? What's going on? G's in the building, baby. G, I am pumped that you are here, brother. Hey, G, let me know, what is your biggest holding right now? Are you in all cash, or what is your biggest holding right now? Let me know in the chat. G, I'm glad you're here. Another one of our members has showed up. Now we just need our boy to show up, while Norman Conklin needs to pop in this baby, and we'll have all the members in here. And if you guys want to be a member, please, it's only $5 a month. You get access to that base and trend breakout strategy, and you help your boy out a lot. I like to show up. I like to do the homework. I like to kick ass and take some names. But G, JFA, glad you're here, brother. So keep an eye on Road. I really like what B. Stewie did here. And so I'm really liking this here too. So I'm just going to treat this as another basing breakout. I have my alerts and my alarm set. If this wants to pop up above this, with the EPS and sales growth, this really is looking good. Now, one thing about Road, if I remember, I think it was a mover, right? 4%, so it's more on the slower side, guys, but you know, it's 4%. It's still fast enough to move your account, but at $100 when you buy this thing, you know, how much capital do you want to use on this? I don't know, but I could see this thing really starting to rip, okay? Look at stair step pattern, cup and handle, looking absolutely phenomenal. Let me see if I can't pull the, yeah, and it's within that 30% too. So that's a William O'Neill's cup and handle. I like it. SFM, I've been following for a while now. It's starting to lose its juice here, but still above most of its moving averages. This was the Dolly Parton look, and then it came back down. It retested, I think we talked about this last week, if I remember right. It retested this breakout area and popped back up, but it created a new lower high here. So here is the high, and then here is the new lower high. So that's a bad sign. But if it creates a new higher low, meaning here is your low, here's your new higher lows. If it creates another new higher low here, SFM still has a great chance to capitulate higher, but it just needs more time in my opinion. So we're gonna see what happens with that. G says he's holding Hood, AVGO, CLS, and Dave. Dave's a sure bet, that's for damn sure. Yeah, I like that. We already went over Hood and AVGO. CLS is one that we haven't went over today, but I know B. Stewie brought that up a little bit ago. It's got great EPS and sales growth. I'm really hoping, G, that you got this basing breakout here at 96.25. Let me know in the chat what your average price is if you don't mind telling us. But that CLS does look really good. It's got a relative strength of 98%. That's what you want to see. We're seeing EPS and sales growth, absolutely phenomenal. And then, of course, a basing breakout on volume as it gets tight on the 10-day moving average. It's still wanting to push higher, still wanting to go. I like CLS. I don't even know what they do. Electric technology, electronic components. Let's see what they do here. Engages in the provisions of supply chain solutions globally to equipment manufacturers and service providers. It operates through the following segments. Yada, da, 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 da. And it's from Canada. You're messing with the Canuck stocks, my man. The Canuck stocks. Do me a favor, guys. We got 14 of you watching. We got 11 likes. Do me a neighbor. Do your favor. Do your neighbor a favor and hit that like. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Will the gap up hold? If you guys aren't already aware, we have had a beautiful gap up in the overall NASDAQ. And what we want to see is, will this beautiful, beautiful thing hold right here? I'd love to see it hold. It's going to look really good for the overall market if tomorrow morning at the market bell at 9:30 that we open up there, we're going to see everybody account that's holding long. I hope you're holding long. If not, if you're a bear, you're going to get your hands smacked. But absolutely beautiful gap up. So let's hope it can continue to hold and head higher. LRN is another one, folks. LRN basing breakout, popped up higher, did this huge shakeout and rally. We want to see, is it going to hold this 21-day moving average? Now, when I see big movements like this, I don't want to be a part of these stocks, but I am going to continue to keep an eye on it, but I don't like what I see here, okay? I don't like this because I don't want it to happen again. What the hell is that? Not something I want to be a part of. You know what I mean? G said 101.52 on CLS. So let's take a peeky gander. 101.52. Oh, wait. So here's the basing breakout pattern. He took the simple basing breakout right here, which is, you could consider it the same thing. It's a great price there. And let's take a look on my other chart so I can look up this here. All right. So CLS moves 5%. And if we look at where he took this and we measure to the low of day, it's within that 5%. The low of day on there is 3.91%. So he got proper risk reward on a stock that has relative strength in a bull market that is also showing EPS and sales growth of over 20%. Congratulations on taking an absolutely killer trade, G. Let's see what percentage you are up currently. So you're at that 20%, G. Have you taken profits yet? That's the real question on CLS. Please let us know in the chat ASAP. And if you guys haven't already told me your biggest holding right now, let me know in the chat what you're holding. If it's something different or something interesting, I'm going to want to inquire about it. So, G, let me know, brother. Let me know. I'm assuming your stop loss was low of day. And so I'm assuming, you know, you're probably up a decent amount on that. Let me just go ahead and do one of these here for you. I'll just throw up our stop loss here, set stop low of day. We'll put our target up here. And if your stop is the low, oh, you took out 1/3 G. I like that, brother. I like that, man, because I've been taking half out. And if you're taking half out in a bull market, you're missing out on a big piece of that pie. So taking out 1/3, I like that. Looks really good. It looks like if you use that low of day, current your risk reward ratio, you're up 3.5% on your, or I'm sorry, 3.5 on your risk to reward ratio, and you're up 19.15% on the trade. Absolutely beautiful basing breakout trade. G, I am glad that you are with us, brother. And again, thank you for being a member and then coming over here and showing us some beautiful trades. Absolutely beautiful. Now let's take a look at Dave as well. This is another stock that I know B. Stewie brought up to me. Right here with Dave, this is a hard one to try and trade right now. It's well above all the moving averages, and it's obviously very, very strong. It's in a bull market, EPS and sales growth. But what do you do with a stock it's this extended? I'll tell you what you do with a stock that's extended. As long as it is part of your rules, you are selling into this strength, because eventually the strength is going to lose its steam and then try to set back up again. So for me, if I were going to play Dave, obviously we need to set back up, new higher lows, then a breakout to new all-time highs. But in this case, I'm assuming, G, you had already taken Dave, and I see we have an EPS boomer right here. Obviously, we had a surprise on the EPS and sales growth. Let's take a little peeky gander here. 157.85% surprise and a 15% surprise on the revenue. Yeah, you better believe that is an episodic pivot right there. That could be argued, actually. But regardless, I'm sure you played it like an earnings gap up continuation play or a PEG, a power gap up. And G says, in a beautiful essence, I say, dude, you're kicking ass, you're taking names, and you only took out 1/3. I'm usually taking out half, but we are in a beautiful bull market. And he responds with this: power trend, chief. We are in a power trend. You try and say that 10 times fast. We are in a power trend, chief. I love it. I love it. We are absolutely in a power trend, and congratulations to you. And G, if I haven't bugged you enough, let me know, how did you play Dave? Did you use an opening range breakout after the earnings capitulated this stock much, much higher? I would love to know, because I bet you are absolutely kicking ass and taking aim. Let's see, 8 Mile says, biggest my mistake is Reddit. Hopefully it goes up. Expires in 6 months. You're playing in options on Reddit. Let's take a look at Reddit. Now, I know Reddit was a leader in the beginning of this last bull run in this market, and we played Reddit. We made some money on Reddit. We made money on this trend breakout here, and we made money up here on the basing breakout. When did we stop looking at Reddit? We stopped looking at Reddit when it started to look like it was entering its stage 4 decline. What is the stage 4 decline? Well, you can see here, as we go up higher, this is your stage 1 right here. Right here, we enter our stage 2. This is your stage 3 as it trades sideways, and then it enters its stage 4 here. We stopped watching Reddit when it broke down this area right here for good reason, and we had our stop losses when we closed below this 10-day moving average right here. And the reason why we do that is so that way we don't end up holding on to stocks like that. Now, I know options are a little bit different and things like that, but 8 Mile, I gotta say, I really love the fact that you brought up your biggest mistake, because here you're a loser unless you're learning. And as long as we're going to learn from our mistakes, I love to talk about them. I really do. Because Reddit, when you look at this on the outside, the shell, the beautiful chocolate outer coating shell of this M&M, you can see here the EPS and sales growth are showing true. The issue is the market tried to price this in, and then it's showing, well, we got a little excited, reverting back to the mean. Well, if we look at this on a more concerning factor, you can see here the overall long term of this, it's right on that area, brother. So if I got to say anything good about 8 Mile, because right now there's a lot that I can say that's Reddit. There's a lot I could say bad. You know, it's below a 200-day moving average. You know, it's got a low RS rating of 80. It's not that low, but it's low. You know, but it's got good EPS and sales growth, and it's right here on its regression line. So I would have to say Reddit, you know, if you're a bottom ticker, if you're a bottom fisher, I would say this could possibly be its third new higher low. You guys don't usually see me talking about shit tickers below the 200-day moving average, but my boy's holding Reddit right now, and it's got great EPS and sales growth. So I am rooting for you. Of course, I'm always going to tell you, cut your shit, man. Quit being a bag holder. We don't want to be holding the bag holders. I'm putting a bag on this, brother. You got the bag, 8 Mile. But you know it's only out of fun, brother. You know I love you, Reddit. So we'll keep an eye on this for you. I do hope it bounces. I'd like to see a regression line, and I'd like to see it. You know, it might even undercut this regression line, but with the overall market the way it is, I could see this thing heading higher from here, but we'll see. You know, the market knows, I don't. A little sip. I'm almost out. All right, let's see. What else we got in the chat? Yeah, I bet G did play a PEG on that for sure. Oh, no, he said, I took it on a base breakout. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the 187 base breakout. Absolutely, my dude. Oh, no, but that, let me see. That was for Dave, 187. Let's see, 187. Oh, you took this little base breakout? Oh, dude. Okay, so that's cool. See, I don't have the balls to do that because when I see this, I see extension, and I want to see it trade sideways. But I see if also, too, like, let me just get rid of some of this crap. What I really like is if we get rid of all these indicators, we get rid of all these drawings, all this garbage that I have up, okay? All we see is a big move up and tightening range, right? That's what you're seeing. So I like it. That works in a bull market. I just like to see things get a little bit tighter. You know, I like to see things get a little bit tighter. But yeah, dude, basing breakout right there. I like to see more days for me to consider it a basing breakout, you know, but you do you, bro. It's working out. I absolutely love Dave. Love it, love it, love it. MVST is another one I have on my list. And guys, I got plenty of stocks that I can go over. But if you guys got a stock that you want me to take a look at, maybe we already went over it and you missed it because you're showing up at a later time, let me know in the chat. I'd love to hear from you. Shoot me some love, guys. If you like the stocks that I'm showing you, if you like all the work, all the time that I put into this channel, give me a like, give me a subscribe, shoot some of that love, give me some of that emoji. We're going to get more people into this place because we have an amazing community. We spit the truth. I'm not trying to bullshit you. I'm not trying to take your money. I ain't trying to do none of that shit. I'm trying to show you what I'm interested in, the stocks that I'm trading, how a real trader trades, the real psychology behind that trading. There is no fluff. There's no bullshit here. It's the real deal, baby. MVST, we love this basing breakout, but because of earnings, we kind of didn't play this, did we? The next day, that opening range breakout, if you were a part of it, congratulations. I know B. Stewie's holding MVST. I don't know where from, but this was a beautiful basing breakout. We talked about it multiple times. We also talked about this trend breakout. I know B. Stewie and I got this. He actually got a better price than I did using his anchored VWAP strategy, which, you know, I always got to give you a shout out. If you're getting a better price than me, I'm proud of you. I want to learn from you. Absolutely love it. And he showed us how to do it with the anchored VWAP from that all-time high. Absolutely beautiful. Let's keep on. ARMN, this is in the mining corporation. Folks, this mining corporation still looks very, very strong, reaching new all-time highs on Friday. So, you know, we'll see what it wants to do. Gold's still looking strong, bouncing off that 50-day moving average. ARMN can be a part of that. RGTI, now this, in my opinion, is a garbage doo-doo stock, but you can see the smiley face kind of getting ready to really start to rip here. So if you like these kind of trades, this is in your computer processing hardware area, RGTI. And really, this is not going to be a night unless we talk about the quantum computing stocks, right? QBTS, IONQ, there's a couple other ones, but those are the two we're going to focus on. The simple trend breakout right here, the simple base breakout worked beautifully. We called this out in the Discord multiple times. Keep watching QBTS because it started to get to a tightening range. It did not just fall down and pull back. It got really tight, had a fake breakout, pulled back in next day, rip, tater, chip, baby. This thing is still moving. Absolutely beautiful. You know, again, when you see these things, you can't take them. They're already gone, right? You need to find them before they take off. That's why you're here. So you can follow this basing breakout, folks, right here. Simple basing breakout, folks. You can make it simple. You don't have to make it difficult. Don't make it hard on yourself. Don't mess up your psychology of your entries. Get a good price. Sit tight. Put all your eggs in one basket. Watch the basket really, really close. Drunken Miller. I mean, let's do it, folks. Let's do it. We are in a bull market. Let's make some damn money. Here is IONQ. As you can see, it's getting ready to reach those new all-time highs. I liked IONQ for quite some time, but QBTS is leading this charge. All right. Now I have quite a few more, but make sure you put them babies in the chat, because I'll just keep on talking about all the tickers I want to talk about. What's up, Sarah Sosa? I haven't seen you in a bit. I am glad you were in the building. Nothing but love, nothing but love. Hey guys, we'll take a quick second. I want to show you the new truck that I just got. If you guys weren't a part of it or you didn't know, last week on Tuesday, I got into a pretty good car accident. It was at least enough to make my truck where I couldn't drive it back home. And I've been telling you guys for quite some time now, I've been wanting to get a new truck, but I don't have a reason to. I have a working vehicle, so I can't just go out and buy myself a new vehicle. I just can't do it. If it's running and it's working right, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's broke. It's broke. So we got the wife a new vehicle, and we are going out tomorrow to buy this beautiful thing right here. A nice Chevy Silverado Custom. This thing is souped up. It's absolutely beautiful. Banger of a truck. And look at that ass end on that baby. Oh, wee! Yeah. It's not too much, but it's not too little. I can still pull. I can still do everything I need to. But it's a 4-banger, so I get better gas mileage than your average. And then it has a turbo, so it gets up and goes. It still can pull, can do all the things. So I'm still not going well above and beyond. I'm not getting an F350. Hell, I'm not even getting an A250. I'm getting what I need, and it's going to work out great. This thing's got a nice 2-inch lift kit. It's got the off-roading package. It's got the bigger wheels. It's got the dark wheels. I'm very pumped. I've never owned anything new. I've always drove beaters, but the wife and I decided to splurge a little bit, and I'm pumped about getting this Chevy Silverado. Look at that grill, guys. I'm going to cake that thing with bugs. I can't wait, but I am pumped. I am pumped, guys. I've bought myself anything new like this, and yeah, it's going to be good. There's some free advertisement. That's where I'm going. Don't tell them. Don't tell them I'm coming. They know I'm excited. They're going to get me for one. I know it. But yeah, nothing but love, guys. Thank you, guys. Oh, Lyft. We do need to look at Lyft since we're looking at cars, right? LYFT. Now, I think we were looking at this earlier, and yeah, sure as shit, this thing had a beautiful gap up on EPS growth. Now, this is where dreams are made of, because if this thing has been beaten down, which looks like it really has been beaten down, and Lyft starts actually producing some good numbers, which we're seeing EPS and sales growth, the issue is the sales growth is starting to slow down here. So we'll see if they can get those numbers up. But the EPS, the earnings that they had a surprise earnings of 26%. But they had a surprise negative 18 million in revenue. So kind of discriminatory there. But Lyft above all the moving averages now, pulling back, riding a 10-day moving average. You can see this thing has potential. Let's see if it can get a new higher low, as it just keeps creating these new lower lows. We need to see this move up, create a new higher low, maybe even form a base somewhere at this top. And then I will be very interested. You can see we have that William O'Neill's cup and handle start to form. So if you wanted to look at in that sense, you could wait. Oh, and look at that. The cup and handle form trend breakout is right at that basing breakout. You could even go as far as to using an anchored VWAP on this thing, like I've done multiple times over here. But since we have new information, we can add these new anchored VWAPs. So let me get rid of the old ones here. We could pull anchored VWAP from the all-time high, well, all-time most recent high, and we can put it at the all-time recent low. And you can see it's now above all of those areas. So that's a good sign, but we want to see new higher lows form and maybe break out of this area for proper risk reward. So that's Lyft. That's just my thoughts. I think if you're looking at the overall trend of the stock, it's trending down and it's near its all-time lows. So it has some proving to do, but it does have EPS and sales growth. So it's not just a dull stock. It actually has potential, but is Lyft going to continue moving higher? Ooh, gee, I'm glad you brought up Groupon, dude. And yeah, Tesla. Why am I not talking about Tesla? Let's see. B. Stewie says, well-deserved, brother. Thank you so much. Also, CVNA. Yeah, let's just go over these stocks you guys have in here. We're going to start with B. Stewie, CVNA. This thing is beautiful, guys. Beautiful. This is a basing breakout pattern right here. Also a cup and handle, so double whammy, if you will. But this CVNA, nothing can keep this down. And look at the EPS and sales growth. I mean, I remember they were like going bankrupt down here. It was nuts. They had like news they were going bankrupt and they were getting ready to sell. And this thing, it just has never stopped. Continued much, much higher, now creating that cup and handle with a basing breakout area right here. Thank you for bringing that up, B. Stewie. I think we should actually put this up here on this CVNA. Let's throw that up on the leaderboard list. We're going to keep an eye on CVNA, so thanks for putting that in there. Yeah, we got to lift Jimmy. Let's see here. CMP. We already went over CMP. Jolene. Oh, he put Stu. Okay. I'm sorry. Jolene, don't smite me. I got you. Let's see what else. Let's see what else we got here. Sarah Sosa said, got Coral Weave by accident. Should I hold or sell for profits? What price did you get Coral Weave by accident, girl? Let me go back to Coral Weave here. Let's see. So yeah, Coral Weave, CRWV, absolutely nuts. I mean, if you guys would have played the simple basing breakout like I talk about all the time, now I wouldn't have taken this, but I could have taken this. I wouldn't have. It wasn't on my radar at all. If it was on my radar, I may have been looking at something like this, watching the volume come in on the 5-minute time frame. But yeah. So what price did you get this, Sarah? And we'll come back and we'll talk about that. Should you sell? Because I have a very, very good answer for you, but I'd like to know what price that you got. Our member G says GRPN. Yeah, we got to talk about GRPN and Tesla. So let's talk about Tesla. So guys, I'm in Tesla. I'm using the TSLL as 2x leverage. I got quite a few. I've already taken out half of this trade. If you guys remember, I played the basing breakout here around this 289 on TSLL. We took it on this day and it gapped up. Because I was over that 20%, I took off half my shares. I'm willing to add on this basing breakout. Now, if you look at the overall trend of this, you can just pull this out. You can see it's broken its trend. Now let's pull anchored view out from all-time highs. You can see it's above its anchored view out from all-time highs. Now, if we take this and put it at its all-time lows, you can see here it's above all-time lows. So this thing doesn't have too much trying to want to hold this back, except for this base area at 360. I think if we get above this 360 area, I think Tesla can continue higher. So that's its basing breakout area. I'm in it. I'm holding. If we close below this 10-day moving average, I'm out, right? But it's getting tight. It's holding ground. If it closes below, I'll exit out the last half of these shares, but I made my money on Tesla. I'm willing to make more, but it needs to prove itself to me. So that's my idea on Tesla. I like it. I like Tesla. Let's see. GRP. Yeah, so now let's go over GRPN. Yeah, so I was talking about this off air, and I put this on the watch list so we can go over it, guys. But this GRPN, I mean, it's really a shit stock. It's not showing any sales growth. If anything, the sales growth are getting worse, right? But you cannot argue with price action with this, okay? We've talked about this multiple times, GRPN when it was up here. After the EPS, now it's showing a tightening range. This had a fake out or a fake breakout. Let's see, if it's going to continue higher. If it keeps inching higher into this supply area and it gets rid of that supply area, then what's left? Is there more above it? Well, what's behind it? Not much. You could look at all this, but I doubt the supply is going to hold true after 2 years, So I'm not going to call it blue skies, but this could capitulate. This could definitely head higher. So keep an eye on Groupon. But yeah, looking good. Sarah Sosa says 72. So that was for Coral Weave, CRWV. So CRWV. So Sosa says she got it by accident. I don't know how the hell you buy something by accident. But if you just bought this bitch at $72, that's what I'm talking about. Let's mark this out. 72 bucks. You got to tell me, how the hell did you get this by accident? We're going to put this in pink for Sarah Sosa. The old Sarah Sosa. There we go. Well, that's not really pink. There we go. That's pink. That's for Sarah. That's where you bought it. I'm not going to tell you what you should do with it, but what I will say is this. If you got it for this price and you're holding on to it and you're holding it right now, you are up 41%, right? You're up 41%. Why not take a little piece? Pay yourself, right? Pay yourself that little bit. So that way, if it goes all the way back down to zero, you can stop out and still say you made money. And then save the other piece. Kind of like G's doing with his shares. He sold 1/3 after 20%, right? Now he's holding 2/3 of it. He's holding the majority of his shares. So if you're up CRWV and you haven't taken any shares off this thing, it might be advantageous for you to take off some shares because it's up 40%. Okay, and then leave the other half in and set your stop to break even. That's just my thoughts. I'm not telling you to do that. Maybe you hold on. Maybe because this thing is such a beast, maybe it goes to 1 million and this is the worst time to sell. I don't know. But what I will say is what I do is if I would have taken this basing breakout, I would have already been half out of this trade right about there at $79. And then I would have brought my stop up to break even or closing below the 10-day moving average. So those are just some multiple ways to kind of think about it. Obviously, I'm not the one pressing your buttons, right? And if I'm pressing your buttons, you're probably going to get angry. But, you know, I'm not the one clicking the buttons at the end of the day. Those are just some ideas. If you're up, you're up. Maybe take a piece, you know. But if you have conviction, I don't know what time frame you're looking on. Maybe you're on the monthly. Maybe you're on the 5-minute. Isn't it an intraday trade and you're just holding because? I don't know. But I like it. I like that you're holding a leader in the stock market, and I like the price that you got it for, too. Very, very nice, Sarah. Glad you're in here with us. GRYP, the old Beefy Stewie says, you know it's a shit stock. If B Stewie's telling me after hours. So this is GRYP. Actually, he was showing me this one earlier. You know, I hate looking at stocks like this because this looks like it's about to yeet skeetily do. It does. This thing's getting ready to bang, bang. Watch out, baby. All right. GRYP, there's only 2 ways this can head, and it's violent in one direction. Whether it's up or down, I don't know, but it's going to be violent. So put this on your radar. Maybe set an alert above and below this day. GRYP. And we got FROG. Now, I'm going to tell you guys right now, we are coming to the end. So if you got a ticker that you want me to take a little peeky gander at, you need to do so. You need to do so. You need to do that right meow, okay? Quit kidding me and put a ticker in the chat, would you please? Now, I'm going to set an alert before I even talk about the stock because Frog looked absolutely phenomenal. This thing is getting froggy. It's about to leap. What I love about the stock is if I look at this, just zoom in on this, all green, right? We got EPS, we got sales growth, and then on top of a cup with handle, look how tight this lovely thing is getting on the 10-day moving average. If I had to guess, tomorrow this thing's about to yeet, skeetily do, hold my beer, ribbit, baby. We're going to head much higher. I wonder how fast I can find a frog in this. Can we find a frog really quick? They don't have a search engine on this. Like, it's cool that you can add all these pictures. I absolutely love it. But, like, you need to have a search engine on everything, especially when you got 1 million emojis. You know what I mean? Like, is this froggy going to leap or not, baby? So I like frog. I'm going to add this as well. B Stewie coming in with the tickers, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, B Stewie. Appreciate everything you do for this channel. Thank you for being a moderator. And thank you for being the turd you are. Love you, homie. Oh, shit. All right, what else we got? We already went over all of these. We already went over all of those. Did I go over all these? Let me see. Yes, I did. All right, so I have a few more in here that we can go over, like ONON. We have a basing breakout on ONON. Keep an eye on that $60 area. We already talked about Netflix. CRMD, very nice, right here at this basing breakout at the top. Keep an eye on that. It's a biotech, absolutely doo-doo. Personally, this would be more of a shorting area for me, where this would be your stop loss at 1306, this triple top. But this would be on watch for short for me. But I have a bias against biotechs. I don't trust any of them, you know. But it doesn't matter. That does not matter what I think. If my bias starts to set in its ways, it's not good. It's all about risk reward, right? So if you find good risk reward, go for it. Yeah, definitely the search engine. Thanks, Beast Dewey. Yeah, I agree with you, bro. 100%, man. Like, you got all these in here. Like, how am I supposed to? What the? We already talked about GRPN. Yeah, that's on my watch list, baby. You didn't bring me nothing new, baby. Bodan and Elizabeth Franchuk. I'm saying your full name every single time that you message me. I don't even know if I'm saying it. Bogdan and Elizabeth Franchuk. I'm not even shortening that. Anytime that Bogdan and Elizabeth Franchuk talks to me, it's going over. I'm doing their whole name. So anyway, Bogdan and Elizabeth Franchuk, you've covered everything on my radar right now. That's what I'm talking about, baby. We like to be thorough. LFMD, another gapper above 10-day moving averages, but you know, you can't look away from this thing, right? It's kicking ass, it's taking names, and it's in the healthcare services. So if healthcare starts to turn around, this thing's leading. Keep an eye on it. Now, this is Fannie Mae. If you guys don't remember Fannie Mae, this thing just took an absolute hit. in 07, 08, this thing just completely fell off the face of the earth. I wonder if we can see it in the stock. Let's look at the monthly. Right here it is. Let me guess. Here's the 2000s, 02, 5, 6, and 7. 08, this thing fell off the face of the earth. And then it just traded sideways all the way up until now. Okay? So this thing was the biggest supplier in mortgages. The biggest supplier in mortgages. And they were just handing out the most garbageous loans, right? Now look at these beautiful setups they're having on this shit penny stock. Can this ever get back up to what it used to be? I think they have the right framework. I think they have the right business, and maybe their name has had enough time away from, people where, they don't have a bad name. Of course, I'd like them to rebrand. Don't call yourself Fannie Mae. Call yourself May Fannie. I don't know. Change something. But it's got an RS rating of 99. It's absolutely kicking ass and taking names. It had this beautiful basing breakout pattern. Look how tight this monkey got tight on the 10-day moving average. This is what we're looking for. THTX, another one of those pharmaceutical biotechs. I like to talk about them. I don't like to be about them, but this thing is really getting tight on here. I know you guys like that there. Let's see here. OLO, I believe B. Stewie brought this up. I don't remember exactly, but it looks like it's wanting to come back down and retest that basing breakout. SE, so this is a big one, guys. So I've been following SE for a while now. This was a basing breakout pattern we played, or I don't think I actually played, but this was part of it because the market wasn't looking too good, but this was one of those that started to set up. And it's internet retail, which is interesting because I don't actually know what the hell they sell. But regardless, guys, it's doing really well. Another base is set up here at 165.02. LB. So LB got me for a couple of dollars. I played this 6-month basing breakout right here, and I actually took smaller share size on it because I wasn't so sure. This thing fell like a rock. I actually got a little slippage on this. I lost a little bit more money than I expected, but it still was under half of an R. So I didn't take too big of a loss, but I did try this. So now I want to see a new higher low form and that this trend is showing because I love these 6-month base breakouts. It's got EPS, it's got sales growth, it's in the commercial services. I really think if this land bridge company, a newer IPO, breaks out of this base at this 82.50, I really think it could capitulate and head much higher. Rob just popped in here. He said, "Squad, thanks for all you do, DW. Learned so much. Sorry not around much. Life happens. For real, thanks." Rob, I really appreciate you stopping in and saying hi. And dude, I know how it is, man. I know how it is. I'm going through all the same. Plus, I got 3 kids. I mean, trust me, I do it all. You ask B. Stewie. I'm always doing something. But always on Sunday and Wednesdays, we all meet back up. We all sit back, relax, and we keep an eye on our leaders because the leaders tell the news. So, Rob, thank you so much for popping in here. I'm glad you are here, and I'm glad that you popped in and said hello. Thank you, thank you. We had HWM. Now, if you guys are into those aerospace and defensive names, we've been keeping a close eye on this. And you know what I've been seeing a lot lately? This trade idea where these regression lines, when the regression line breaks out of the regression, that's a great time to short. And I just keep posting this chart. I just keep posting this, Now, this broke its regression line. It was a great time to buy off the 200-day moving average. But this whole regression line, it breaks its regression line in short. No, that's showing bullish activity. Sure, that can happen, but not in this stock, not in aerospace. Now, of course, if it starts breaking its 10 and 21-day moving average, you're going to hear me change my mind. It's all in the technical patterns and how it looks today, not what it's going to look like next week because I don't have 2020 eyesight or futuristic eyesight. I have 2020 after the weeks have came and gone, right? Let's see, URA. Let's take a look at URA. It's probably a uranium. Yeah, that's a global uranium ETF. We looked at the nuclear, which follows the uranium. Uranium's a little bit lagging behind that nuclear ETF, which is more focused on nuclear stocks. But uranium's doing really, really good as its all-time high here is at $34. So this is a great ETF to keep an eye on, and I'll have to add this to my ETF as well. But we keep an eye on NLR, which is looking very, very similar, very bullish. Obviously, with the big bill passed, a lot of your nuclear stocks and anything uranium that is going to have to do with nuclear is going to go higher. We need to see it get out of this area. Make sure that big, beautiful bill does work out. But I do like URA, and thanks for bringing that up, homie. We also have CEG, folks. This CEG is the energy constellation. It was a trade favorite a year back. It was very, very interesting. A lot of people were talking about this EPS and sales growth. And earnings is not doing, or energy is not doing good in the ETF. But if it starts to turn around, we start to see, XLE. Let's take a look at it. Here's the ETF. You can see it's just on a downtrend right now, below all moving averages. But if this starts to firm up and it starts to turn around, we might be able to look at CEG as clues as what wants to take this market higher. So CEG is looking very, very good. So if you're into energy, if you like energy, CEG, in my opinion, is one of the leaders that moves a little faster. If we want to look at CEG, we can look right here. It moves 3.8%. So I do apologize. It's not a fast mover. It doesn't move that fast. But if you can find proper risk reward within that average daily range, I think that you could still have a good trade on CEG. It's just a little too slow for me. A little too slow. I'm actually going to take it off my leaderboard watch list. I don't want to. I like the basing breakout too much. I like this high tight flag. We're going to keep an eye on it. Let's see if the ADR starts to pick up. Let's see here. Beef Stewie says BA. It's testing anchor VWAP from 2019. Now, if you guys remember, BA got a good government contract recently. Had a nice pop-up higher here. And Beef Stewie loves that anchored VWAP. So let's grab this anchored VWAP. Let's zoom out to that 2019. Why are we going all the way back here? Why? Because that was its all-time high back in 2019. And now if we zoom back in here, look where that all-time high lands us. Right here as support. So that's very, very good sign. I like to use things a little bit more closer to its timeline. So let's take the all-time low. As you can see, we are above our all-time low, and our all-time most recent high is what I like to grab. And you can see we're above both of those. So my anchored VWAPs that I just pulled didn't show us much more information, but that all-time high from the 2019, not gonna lie, that's a good pull from anchored VWAP. So thank you so much, B. Stewie, for relaying that piece of information. It looks really good. 8 Mile says, thank you for your time. Was great. Take care. Take care, 8 Miles. Good having you. Hope to see you Wednesday. We're going to be reading some more books, baby. Okay, we got a few more we're going to go over. I know it's getting late, guys. Not for Jolene, no. Sweet Jolene, back in the day. Her son's probably still up, isn't it, Jolene? I mean, it's 11 here. I'm not really sure what time it is there, but all right, couple more. SMMT. I don't really care for this trade, but I'm telling you, right here is the basing breakout area. So if it does start to capitulate, if you were in front of the computer at the time and you find great risk reward, this might be a great intraday trade, or this might be a proper risk reward for a swing trade if you got the cojones to do so. We're not going to look at bull because it's bullshit, and I don't want anybody trading it that shouldn't be. You know who you are. OKTA. Can't be a day without talking about OKTA. This is also in the package software, folks. I've been talking about this package software with EPS and sales growth absolutely kicking ass and taking names. This is one you need to have on your watch list as it's getting really tight here on that 10-day moving average. And you know what? We'll take a look at BBAI. So Sarah Sosa brought up BBAI. We were actually talking about this earlier. If you pull BBAI's anchored VWAP from all-time high, you'll find, Sarah, that it's running right into that anchored VWAP. So right here, if we look, now, if I just look at the EPS and sales growth, I'm like, I don't really care for this thing. But if we just look at a technical standpoint, you can see here we have new higher lows on the stock. Here's our low. Here is our new higher low. And here is our third new higher low. Since we have that, we want to say, is this surfing any moving averages? Well, it looks like after this push higher, it's holding that 21-day moving average and then creating new lower lows and new higher highs. And now it's starting to get this tightening range. So when I see something like this tightening range and a pull from all-time highs of anchored VWAP, and we're sitting right on top of it, I would want to be looking at this thing and have alerts, because if it breaks out above this, I might be able to find proper risk reward right in this area. All right? So that is kind of my look-see here, because if we pull this long position, and let's say we open up here in the morning, and I can set my stop to, like, let's say the low of the day is there, and then we'll say our first take is going to be right at this area of resistance, or we'll just say 20%. So we pull this up to 20%, and our first take would be at $5. So if we took this a trade idea after it breaks anchored view up on volume. We'll get it in around 4 to 420. Maybe it'll be a 420 trade. Smoke them if you got them. And then we hold it for 20%, which would be at $5, about even. And then you take out half that trade. So that could be a trade idea. As we are seeing new higher lows in this stock, we are seeing the anchored VWAP show that there is supply there. But if we can break through that supply, capitulate higher, you might have a nice risk reward on that trade. So I hope that helps Sarah Sosa. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is all the time I got for you. I hope you like how I did it tonight. I did what I wanted to do. So I hope you like what I'm doing. If you did, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button. We just ended the poll, folks. We ended the poll. And make sure you stay. I'm going to say goodbye to each and every one of you that have been here. We had 17 votes on the poll. Will the gap up hold? Yes, further capitulation up. 58% of you, 23% of you said, love you, Dave. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's positive. We have more people saying love you, Dave, than we have bulls in this room. And only 17% of you say that this is a bull trap. So thank you so much for participating in that. Really appreciate you guys. So I'm going to give you the outro, and then, of course, I will usher each and every one of you out. If you mention me in a comment today, I'm going to give you a shout-out. So thank you guys so much. Nothing but love. Peace. Rip, rip, tater chip. Hey, listen, guys. I know I'm kind of an emotional guy, but regardless, guy, I got to give you the heart to heart. Thank you. If you made it to this all the way to the end, honestly, I'm talking to you. If you're listening to me right now, thank you. You've listened to me from the start to the end, or maybe you're just here still supporting me. You're the real ones. I really appreciate you. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. You're a loser unless you're learning. This is how we do it, baby. Leaders lead. Bogdan and Elizabeth Franchuk, thank you so much for being here. I hope I earned your subscription. I hope to see you Wednesday while we have a book night on William O'Neill's How to Make Money in Stocks. Yosef, thank you so much for being here, baby. You are awesome. You are very dedicated to this channel. Jolene, sweet Jolene, baby. I'm telling you, Jolene and B. Stewie and myself, we got to start a podcast soon. We'll have to do the mornings so she can goober in the afternoon. Jimmy Bright, as always, thank you so much for being here. You are awesome. Sarah Sosa, thank you for taking some time out of your day to share with us the stocks that you're keeping an eye on. 8 Mile Baby, Rob, URA with the uranium coming in here and shooting and shouting me out. Thank you so much. Let's see. B. Stewie, as always, I love you, homie. Giving you enough shout outs anyway. G, thank you to all my members out there, especially you, G, and our good friend Carl Burr, not Kate. He's not Kate today. He's late today. And our good friend Norman Conklin. If you're listening to this at a later time, Norman, nothing but love to you. Thank you so much, sir. Who else we got in here? I don't want to skip anybody out. We don't want to leave anybody out. I know we had a couple of new guys in here too. Eagle Voyage, thank you so much. Loke Doc, as always, thank you so much for being here. And I think that, Robert Tainch, my boy. Thank you for being here, Robert. I think that, and Smeed, Saeed Smaid, thank you so much for being here. You guys are awesome. Have a nice night. Let's get it, baby. Oh, right before I get off here, let me take a look at the sector ETF, the NASDAQ. Oh, yeah, still holding that gap up, baby. Let's go. See you boys in the morning. Peace.